Here's how I was able to inexpensively set up a transfer switch to make solar power in the garage optional. And there's definitely a luck part here. I was able to get this large transfer switch component for free from a big automatic backup generator panel because it had been overloaded. And I was able to fix it up to my standards for this project. I'll show you how this works. The load, this case being the garage, is attached via braided wire to the base of these contacts that move up and down to select the power source. It may be hard to see, but on one side, this is the contact that was not damaged. Over here, the plastic that this is mounted in had melted from the overload slightly, and I've just placed a shim in here to get these things back in line and to make good contact, knowing that my load is not going to be nearly as high. Then I also had this small enclosure left over from another job, but those aren't very expensive anyway. But I was able to get this large switch in this small enclosure by wiring the switch outside the box first and then slipping it in, running the wires up through the hole there into the other panel and mounting it. So if you look through to behind these wires, you can just see the set screw type aluminum connection lug there, a pair of them of course. That's where the garage is connected, the garage panel. But then when they send you a replacement switch for the big transfer panel, they don't send it with the lugs. So here I've done this, since my solar power only supplies a maximum of 30 amps. You get your 10 gauge wire there with bolts, and then on the grid side of things, the big hydraulic wire crimper. This thing was a bargain. If you're going to do any large wiring, get one of these guys. You just change the size of die there, and they give you all these. So you may have noticed this thing is electromagnetically operated, like a relay, but I've got it controlled manually right now with this three-way switch. And the three-way switch's contacts are arranged just like this large transfer switch, only it's just one side of it. But where one contact connects to one or the other of two optional contacts. And these coils use 240 volt AC, and I've got this supplied with the solar side of the system, figuring that would be more reliable. But in an emergency, you can stick this handle in here and operate it manually. So the way this is set up, the way this America Power works. What do you mean, which America? There's 120 volts on each of two conductors. So one of those I have permanently connected to one side of each of these coils. And then the other side of each of these coils is switched through the three-way switch, as I explained, to empower one coil or the other. But that switched lead is connected also through these micro switches on each side, so that when the lever arrives at its destination, the switch is opened and nothing is powered anymore. So that you don't have constant humming electromagnetic coil setups heating up the world. And there it is with the cover back on. So while this is manually operated right now, it could easily be automated with the use of a relay, and controlling that with another piece of equipment in the system, such as my charge controller has an optional device that will allow it to control relays based on whatever parameters you set. So you could replace this switch with a relay wired into this. It's optional component that isn't here. But and say that when the batteries are full, solar power the garage. Or whatever optional load you prefer. So while this exact setup is not likely to happen to you, I hope you can see how its principles can be applied to many situations. So I hope this helps somehow, get you thinking, and feel free to post questions. Thanks for watching.